made on that. The changes show up sometimes at the last minute in the judging because they don't want to judge from the same state as one of the fighters. That's one of the reasons that sometimes changes are made, because you can't always predict when the original assignments are made just who's going to be there. Lavelle Finger, a left-hander, starts out with a pretty good combination to the face of Todd Foster. Foster does nothing really outstanding. He's a tough grinder kind of guy, very sound, very well schooled, and is the kind of a boxer who'll wear you down. But Finger starts out pretty well. He just popped that right hand into the face of Foster. Foster stands 5'8", Finger 5'8½". The reach is virtually the same, half an inch or so difference. Edge going to Finger. Oh, good right hand to the body by Foster. Bit of a slapping combination there by Finger, not seemingly to bother. Foster's a tough kid. He just comes at you and has no history of cuts or anything like that. Finger has won, according to his record, that's a pretty good left hand right there by Finger. That one was blocked. He's won over 200 fights. International record is 2-0. Foster, on the other hand, is 9-3 international. Lou Duva is in the corner today of Todd Foster. Lou's been in a lot of corners with a lot of fighters through the years. Foster now going to the body, going to the head with the right hand. And in the first minute or so, Lavelle Finger looking pretty sharp. Foster now seemingly trying to make a move. There's the left by Foster to the face of Finger. Foster's in the white. Lavelle Finger wearing the old colors out of the Western Trial. Foster got there just a little bit before Finger in that last exchange. When you get there first, you take the sting out of the other fellas' reaction or retaliation. Finger working well there. Hard left hand to the body, going underneath the rib cage by Foster. It's that kind of a blow that'll slow your feet down in the third round. Inside the final minute, good right hand by Todd Foster. Finger good in the first minute. Foster started to come on at about the halfway point of round number one. Oh, those are quick body shots by Todd Foster. Finger looks into the corner. Body work by Todd Foster, pronounced here in the final minute of round one. Finger needs to keep him at range, keep him away, and stay busy. Foster gets inside, he gets very busy and very punishing. Well, keeping Foster at range, Foster trying to reach, needs to pull up his britches. The trunks have slipped down here a bit on Todd Foster. But Foster started to get his feet in closer to the opponent and started to nail him late in the round. Lavelle Finger and his twin brother, Terrell Finger, watching from ringside and rooting as hard as he can.
Sit down on that left. Once he get in range. Once he get in range, throw it.
You start reaching, you don't have anything on your punches, and there was a good bit of a lecture in Todd Foster's corner about that from Kenny Weldon. Get your feet in so you can set yourself and put something on the punch. And that's what he did in the closing minute, particularly of the first round. This is round two of these 139-pounders. The winner goes to Las Vegas next weekend for the box off. The loser goes home. Maybe. Never know. Select committee has got to pick the most noteworthy opponent or the winner of this bout. And these two this week have certainly been noteworthy. That's Foster. He got his feet in close and was able to have the leverage and whacked Finger pretty well to the head. It was all body for Foster in the closing minute of the first round. So far here in the second round, he hasn't done much to the body, but dug a left in there that time. Good right hand to the body there by Foster. the better of that exchange. One particularly good left hand, and it looked as if Foster might have been stung a bit because he comes storming off the rope. Lands a hard right to the face. Foster getting a little uncharacteristically wild here in the middle of the round. What's a good right hand to the body, a finger. Foster really whams him when he gets in that close. There's another one. There's another one. Finger with a very good combination to the head of Foster there. Close fight. That was a right and a left by Finger. Good right hand to the body by Foster as they wail away on the ropes at the hear what was said in Todd Foster's corner by Kenny Weldon.
You got one round apiece. This is the championship round right now. You understand? Now you went out there single stepping and coming up short again, and you're not moving your hands. You understand? Hey, Todd, hey, stop thinking about trying to knock this guy out. Forget about knocking him out. Let's start thinking about speed, okay?
Single stepping. That was a big, big problem for him early on in round one and in the second round as well. He didn't go to the body in the second round. And right now, Finger, realizing that he had won that second round, is trying to outquick him. And Foster now has got to make the fight. He has got to stay busy. And Lavelle Finger is not going to give up his territory easily, is he? This has got your crowd up. Woo. Big right hand by Foster. Otherwise, it's a draw. There are the grandparents of Todd Foster. Non-stop in this third round by both men.
Keep going.
Foster to the body, Finger to the head. Lavelle gets a word from Tony Filippelli because he's the one that put his head down. Good right hand by Foster. Big right hand there. He continues to pound the body, and judges like that. They'll score a body punch just as quickly as they'll score a head punch. Finger going up and Foster going to the body. And both of them gamers. They're going right down to the last ounce of energy is spent. That's one of the weaknesses that Todd Foster has. He slips back onto that rope and he stays there too long, and they were talking to him about that. Lavelle Finger, unyielding. He too cautioned in his corner that the decision was on the line in the final 3 minutes, and they've got 40 seconds to go. Punching. Foster digging. Really hammering to the body while Finger works to the head. Classic amateur boxing. That would not yield. We'll
All-Star Game. You'll see it live at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific from Riverfront Stadium. The 1988 All-Star Game. Be with us Tuesday. Right now, let's go back to boxing.
We'll be making the presentations.
139 pounds. Your decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of bout number 4, 139 pounds, unanimous decision in the red corner, Todd Foster.
Well, I made the point a number of times during the round that a good solid body punch counts just as much as a punch to the head. And while Lavelle Finger showed all the courage in the world, I mean, he just fought non-stop. And there was the hammering to the body by Foster that you could just hear the thumps throughout the Concord Pavilion. Foster went flat in the second round, and Finger won that round. But in the third round, while Lavelle was trying to go successfully to the head, Foster was scoring heavily to the body, and that's where the decision was made. And the grandparents came soaring right out of their seats when the decision was given for the man from Montana. And Todd Foster, who had some doubts, he seemingly thought he had won the fight. But there was a shadow of doubt across his face, and then suddenly the announcement, and it was, wow, I got it. And Lavelle Finger, now, he may very well have earned a trip to the box off in Las Vegas with that performance, because the third round was a classic. The third round reflecting very clearly why there's an awful lot of us who enjoy this particular phase of boxing, because it's sportsmanship. It's young people, and they're not picking up scars here that are going to last them very long, but it's simply part of the learning process. And here he is from Great Falls, native son of Missoula, the pounder to the body. Boy, you really worked on that body, Todd.
Yes, first of all, I'd like to say hi to my mother who couldn't come, and hi to my fiance Julie and everybody back home. That was my game plan, to go to the body and stick to it, because that'll wear him down, and he was a good fighter. All the credit to Lavelle.
I heard the conversation in your corner, though, in that second round, when you tended to sit back against the ropes a little bit and sort of went flat, and Finger won it, that you had to get off that rope.
Yeah, I had to get off the ropes. That's not my fight. I can fight off the ropes, but in order to win amateur fights, you can't box off the ropes.
Right, you can't. Body punch counts just as much as one to the head, though. May not be as flashy or as obvious, but these judges see them.
Yeah, it counts the same. It's not as flashy, but it takes a toll more than a headshot, I think, unless you really get a good shot on the guy. And that was my plan, to attack the body, and that's what I do the best.
You may very well see that guy again.
Oh, yeah. All the credit to Lavelle. That's the third time I fought him, and every time it's a tough fight, and I'd like to see him again at Las Vegas.
We're looking forward to seeing you next week, Todd. Congratulations, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Todd Foster from Great Falls, Montana, the winner at 139 pounds. In just a moment, we're going to be talking to Hank Johnson, the Army coach, who has had those questions.
Then in August on ABC, gymnastics, swimming, cycling, diving, and basketball will be in the spotlight as Coca-Cola presents the Olympic trials. Coming up, we'll meet a few of the stars you'll be seeing throughout the summer, and we'll be back with more boxing as our ABC Sports to hold their Olympic trials. The tension is mounting in such sports as gymnastics, swimming, diving, cycling, and track and field. For a closer look at some of the Olympic stars you'll be seeing, we begin a journey around the country on the Soul Train. Our first stop, track and field.
This is Al Trout. That was the first of Carl Lewis's 4 gold medals in track and field at Los Angeles, a performance that equaled Jesse Owens' feat of 1936. While it was a remarkable effort, there were a number of victories by U.S. track and field athletes to remark about. Edwin Moses, who had burst onto the scene with a gold medal 8 years earlier, repeated in the 400-meter hurdles. Evelyn Ashford, a Montreal competitor like Edwin, took home the gold in the women's 100 meters. Then there was Valerie Briscoe Hooks, a gold in the 200, a gold in the 400, a gold in the 4x100 relay, and gold medal tiers on the victory stand. Remarkably, all four have stayed with the sport and have maintained their high level of performance. And all four are solid favorites to make the Olympic team during the track and field trials starting July 15th. What accounts for their longevity? Carl Lewis considers historical perspective.
We boycotted an Olympics in 1980. The Soviets boycotted in 1984, and the African nations boycotted in 76. Barring anything going on, and none of you countries act up, okay? Barring any problems, this will be the first Olympics, essentially since 72, that everyone has come. So I think that's also been inspiration for people to stay around, to go to the best Olympics, and to go to one where everyone is there.
Mary T. Maher is going to win her first Olympic gold medal.
This is Gary Bender. That was the first of 3 gold medals in the 84 games for Mary T. Maher, the unquestioned queen of American women swimmers. But that was 4 years ago. In 1988, Mary T. Maher gets up at 4 a.m. to train with a group of high school swimmers in her quest to make her 3rd Olympic team. After boycotts in 1980 and 1984, at the age of 23, she wants to swim her best against all the world in Olympic competition.
I will feel like I'm up against, up on the block racing head-to-head against my best competition, and that's always the funnest way to win.
In Southern California, a young woman who bears a resemblance to the Mary T. Maher of 1980 trains. Janet Evans holds a world records in 3 freestyle events, and at the age of 16, she prepares for her senior year at high school, even as she prepares for her first shot at an Olympic team.
First of all, I want to make the team, and then if I do get to go to Seoul, I want to go there and do the best I can.
The saga of the once and future queens of American swimming will unfold during the swimming trials in August.
Hi, I'm Lynn Swan. Greg Louganis established himself as a rising star in 1976. At the age of 16, he captured the silver medal in the platform diving competition at the Montreal Olympics. After the disappointment of the 1980 boycott, Greg's concentration was on the 1984 games. His focus was so definite for those games that he even hinted at retirement after their completion. In his mind, Greg felt that he was ready to move on to the sunset of his diving career. And while at the 84 Olympics, Greg did indeed prove himself to be one of the greatest divers of all time, winning 2 gold medals. With his success, Greg decided to continue his career and set his sights on 1988. Since then, the world has caught up to Greg, including 14-year-old Chong Ni from China, who has won 2 diving competitions this year. Greg has been battling injuries and has been struggling in his preparation for the Olympic trials, but he's not concerned, being the veteran the young divers shoot for.
I was Olympic champion in 1984. That's not going to go away overnight, it's going to stay with me. So really, I don't have anything to lose.
This is Sam Posey. When Mark Gorski captured the United States' first ever gold medal in cycling's 1,000-meter match sprint competition, he celebrated by taking his 14-month-old son Alex with him on his victory lap. Alex is 5 years old now, and Mark Gorski is 4 years wiser and is joined by his wife Mary, Alex, and daughter Kate in the family pool. Away from the pool, Mark is training in Indianapolis for track cycling's Olympic trials set for this August in Houston. Only one American will qualify for the U.S. team in the men's match sprint, and this has provided extra incentive for Mark.
Knowing that there's only one competitor per country, I think is going to actually help me because it puts more pressure on me.
But pressure shouldn't be a factor. After all, there was only one gold medalist in the 1,000-meter match sprint in Los Angeles, Mark Gorski.
This is Donna De Verona. At the 1984 Summer Olympics, Tim Daggett scored a perfect 10 with his performance on the high bar, thus clinching the gold for the United States men's gymnastics team, a first ever for the United States in men's team competition. The Beginning in February of 1986, Tim's fortunes took a turn for the worse. A series of injuries that might have killed the spirit of many athletes has given Tim a unique education.
I think I have my PhD in working with pain.
Unfortunately, Tim would have to endure more pain. Last October at the 1987 World Championships, Tim suffered his most career-threatening injury. As he landed from the vault, he suffered a broken fibula and tibia and severed an artery all in his left leg. Almost miraculously, after being told by doctors that this injury would probably end his career, Tim was back in the gym in less than 3 months, preparing for the Olympic trials in August and the subsequent Olympics in Seoul.
This is probably the greatest challenge that I've faced in my life and maybe for the rest of my life. But it's something to really shoot for, and it's something that I just have to do. You know, I really feel that I will be a better person after this is all over.
1 week from today, 21 of the top basketball players in the country will converge on Georgetown University for a U.S. Olympic men's team training camp. Included in that group are the #1 selections in successive NBA drafts, David Robinson and Danny Manning, and a high school phenom, Alonzo Mourning, who will stay on the Georgetown campus for the next 4 years. A series of exhibition games against NBA All-Star teams in August will help head coach John Thompson decide which 12 players he will pick to defend America's gold medal in basketball. When we come back, we'll have more boxing, including the big guys, the super heavyweights, as the boxing union last night in France broke his own pole vault record, the old record 19:10 1/4. Last night, Bubka 19:10 1/2. Okay, Keith Jackson once again at ringside. He is with a special guest. Keith?
Sure am, Frank. It's a gentleman who's been associated with amateur boxing the better part of his life. 1976, 1980, and 1984 Olympians, Pat Nappy. Shown here working with a former Olympian, Terrell Biggs, sitting with me right now. Patrick, what do you think of this crop of youngsters we've got getting ready to go to Seoul?
I think we've got a real good talent, Keith, and I think they will do well in this coming Olympics.
Is it a bit of a surprise, though? Some of these young people hadn't really turned it up, and they got here to Concord, I guess, and realized how high the stakes were, and they've really shown a talent I didn't think some of them had.
Yes, and the reason for that is, too, Keith, is this is the first time they've all gotten one place together one time. We had our nationals, but all of them weren't there. We had our Eastern, they all weren't there. Here, they're all here.
We've got to get ourselves an Olympic coach, get him in place, and get this thing organized, though. Frank made the point a little earlier that we don't have an Olympic coach right now, and yet the entire Korean team, South Korean team here is scouting.
Yes.
So we got to get in gear, don't we?
Yes, and Keith, I was over there scouting them.
No, no. How important, now each one of these boxers has his own coach and has had in the development. From here on now, after the box off, what happens with the Olympic coach? Does he really take charge, take over the training, take everything?
Well, he must take charge if he wants to have a winner, Keith. This is an individual sport, true, but it's also a team effort, and they help each other out in camp. And the coaches work on techniques mostly. And we say he works with them on a month. The coach on the outside does not know what he's been working with. So he can't step in there and take over because all he's going to do is confuse the youngster.
All right. Pat, good to see you again.
Same here, Keith.
Pat Nappy, 3 Olympic teams. Nice man. And taught a lot of young people a lot of good things. 178 pounds, light heavyweight, Bomani Parker from Richmond, California, goes against the Army's Al Cole. It's, in some degree, I guess, a home crowd for Bomani Parker, because Richmond is just over the hill here, this being the Diablo Valley, and he makes this comment about the crowd.
Well, you hear the crowd at the beginning of the fight when they introduce your name, and during the fight, every time you land a good shot, you do hear the roar of the crowd. So yes, I think the crowd is going to be a big boosting factor.
Well, the crowd coming up for the introduction of Bomani Parker, a 1986 high school graduate from John F. Kennedy High. He legally changed his name from Parker White in 1987. He goes against a tough guy out of the Army, the '88 champion, Al Cole. Al Cole has a 6-0 international record. He's seasoned. Ed Urbeck is the referee for this fight, and Eddie has been at it a long time. He started in the 1948 Olympic trials. He's out of Shrewsbury, Mass. So it is Parker in the blue and Al Cole in the gold of the Army team. Bomani Parker is not much of a swarmer. He'll throw the jab, and then once in a while he'll load that left hand and ring your bell with it. Al Cole, on the other hand, might tend to stay a little bit busier, but we'll just have to see here what happens. The general feeling was that Parker might need to be busier in this fight than he has in some others. Incidentally, back in 1986, Parker beat Alexander Yagubkin, the Soviet, who the times I've seen him, it's just been terribly tough. And Bomani Parker now tending to work early on here to the body of Al Cole. Parker stands 6'1 1/4. Cole, on the other hand, is 6'3 1/4. That's quite tall for a light heavy. Neither one had any trouble making weight today. Both these boxers well schooled. Both have good legs. Right hand over the top by Cole in that exchange as Parker staying inside. Parker goes to the body, hooks again to the body. Bomani picked up some tickets as a pretty good delegation here, and Parker lunging into Al Cole, and they both go tumbling down. Nobody said it was easy. A pretty good short right hand by Al Cole in that exchange. Right hand over the top again by Parker. 178 pounds, Cole in the gold, and Bomani Parker is in the blue shirt. Parker beat Terry Groom and Raz Chapin to get here to the finals. Chapin, a young man from Petaluma, California. Somebody's talked to Bomani about being a little busier because he has been quite busy, and that was a very good rattling combination to the head of Al Cole right there. Cole, the 1988 Army champion. Cole now starting to flurry a bit more, get a little busier toward the close of the round, but he lost in that exchange with Parker. Cole defeated Andre Maynard, the '88 amateur champion, and Philip Jackson on his way to the finals of the Olympic trial. And boy, that was a wicked right hand right there by Al Cole. Maybe the best punch of the fight for him. Hank Johnson all over it in the round, after the round in the corner, and exhorting him to get busier. Judges are Gene Reese, Carmen Williamson, John Hollis, Tony Filippelli, Vern DeVerges. Cole, much more accurate and much busier here in the early going. Twice now he has rattled Bomani Parker. Sugar Ray Leonard among those at ringside. He's the technical advisor to the U.S. Olympic team. It's Cole who's much the busier, and that is the third good right hand that Cole has landed here in the second round. Bomani Parker is tagged by a fourth. right hand. Whips a pretty good hook in himself there. Ed Herbeck doing most of the talking right now to Parker. Let's see if Bomani Parker tries to turn it on here in the late going. He's been pretty quiet so far in this round. Al Cole is not giving Parker a chance to load anything. It's third round. There's another right hand by Cole. Another one by Cole. That right hand has done a lot of damage to Bomani Parker, but there's an awfully good left hand thrown by Parker right there, snapping Al Cole's head back. End of round two, 178 pounds, and let's go into the corner with Al Cole as Hank Johnson talks to him.
Well, suck it in, Cole. You gotta suck it up now. Come on, suck it in.
Got some cold water.
Suck it in, Cole.
Suck it up, deep breath.
Come on.
Don't chop.
One more time. Come on, suck it in real deep. All right, Cole, you pull him back. When you hurt him, you pull him back. Don't pull back, come right back on him. You know when you got him hurt. You know when you got him hurt, right? Can you see when his knees buckle? Come right back on him. Right back on him. Hit him with a good right hand level. 4-3-2 is working. 4-3-2 is working, Cole. But you abandon the jab. Stay with the jab now.
Don't worry about that.
Stay with the jab. On the inside, 4-3-2 is working. All combinations are working. Give me a 3 punch, no less than 3 punch combination. Get on him. You got to get this round. You got to go. You got to suck it up and get everything.
Fight is probably 1-1 in rounds. Points, I have no idea. There are 5 judges going to make that call. But it might very well hang here, and it's been the right hand of Al Cole that's turned this fight in his favor. That's the second time now Eddie Herbeck has talked to Parker about hooking the hand behind the head. Next time he'll ding him a point. Parker, good rally there. But he got inside for a combination there and landed. Solid blows, left and a right. Bomani Parker needs to look for some in. There's a pretty good right hand over the defense of Al Cole. There's another one hooked over. But the ropes is no place for Bomani Parker right now. See him take that deep breath. Parker is able to reach Cole with that right hand coming over the top, but I don't know how much is on it. Seemingly hasn't bothered Cole a whole lot. Both of them getting a little tired now. Less than a minute to go in the fight. Three 3-minute rounds using 12-ounce gloves. Ooh, pretty good left hook by Cole. Seemingly, you sense that he has the edge right now. Boy, he just landed a right hand there, but Bomani Parker looking right at him, kid's coming right at him. Tough fight, couple of pretty good looking light heavyweights, 178 pounds. Al Cole and Bomani Parker. Now the fight's over. And we'll be back with a decision after this commercial.
5-0 in favor of Alfred Cole, blue corner.
Al Cole of the Army team. He is the 4th winner that the Army team has produced here at the Olympic trials. And so he goes on to Las Vegas for the box off, and we'll have to wait. Hopefully we're going to know who most of the noteworthy opponents are that'll be boxing next week against the winners here at the Olympic trials. So Al Cole is the winner over Bomani Parker, and let's join Frank Gifford again.
Thank you very much, Keith, and don't forget the super heavyweights are still to come, the big boys. I'm joined now by Donna De Verona, a friend, a colleague, and an Olympic champion, and former member of the Executive Board of the United States Olympic Committee, who will be covering a number of issues affecting the Olympics during our coverage of the trials over the next few weeks. And Don, I think it's safe to say that we will do better in Seoul than we did in Calgary, but we will not do as well in Seoul as we have done in past Olympics.
Yes, Frank, and there are many reasons for that. Last February at the Winter Olympics in Calgary, U.S. Olympic Committee President Robert Helmick caused quite a stir when he announced the formation of a committee headed by New York Yankees owner George Steinbrenner. It was designed to study the amateur sports movement in this country, and it was clear in Calgary that new solutions need to be found. Squabbles over the final selections for the bobsled team and selections for the speed skating team, and grumbling that the hockey team had been mismanaged into too grueling an exhibition schedule that had left them drained and ill-prepared. And then there was the ski team, the team which had supplied the greatest surprises in Sarajevo. This time, many of the best American skiers were down and out with injuries. No one questioned the efforts of the athletes, but when Bonnie Blair and Brian Boitano proved the only Americans capable of rising high enough above the competition to win gold medals, a feeling settled in that the problem was less one of effort than of organization. It was a feeling similar to that felt after the 1972 Munich Games, when Americans missed being called to the starting blocks for races, and swimmer Rick DeMont was disqualified because no one told him that his allergy medication was on a list of banned substances. It was a feeling of frustration. The frustrations of Munich eventually led to Gerald Ford's creation of a Presidential Commission on Olympic Sport, and ultimately to the Amateur Sports Act of 1978, an act of Congress that established the United States Olympic Committee as the organizational leader of America's Olympic movement. At Calgary, 4 days before the Games were due to end, with the U.S. having won only 6 out of a possible 369 medals, Robert Helmick, the president of the USOC, announced the formation of a new Olympic Overview Committee, an announcement which struck many of the athletes competing at the Games as a slap in the face, even those in favor of such a committee, like Bonnie Warner, America's best loser and a member of the USOC's Athletes Advisory Council.
The timing of the announcement was a little bit poor in my mind. Just for me as an athlete competing in Calgary, I would rather have them not at a press conference that says, you know, why are we not doing so well? We're going to have this commission that'll fix everything.
Even more controversial than the timing of the announcement was Helmick's choice of the man to head up the job, George Steinbrenner, owner of the New York Yankees, a man known more for his Olympic-sized headlines than Olympic ideals.
I know the George Steinbrenner, the United States Olympic Committee persona, not the baseball persona. George has been a quiet, effective member of the United States Olympic Committee for quite some time.
No matter who is in charge, first and foremost, the committee must decide if the 1978 Amateur Sports Act should be overhauled. Should the USOC stay merely the overseer of 38 autonomous sports governing bodies, or should one Olympic governing body be established? Secondly, is enough money being raised to prepare our athletes? And more importantly, is the money raised and distributed by the USOC going to the right people in the right place at the right time?
Too much money goes directly to the Olympic committees, and I don't mean that to say, oh, it's not fair, but I think that we need to put the money in the development stages. Let's get that money down the road to the kids so that they can get the inspiration to continue to compete, because when they get to high school, they've had such an uphill battle that they quit and they never had the opportunity to reap the benefits.
Finally, but most importantly, what is our Olympic goal? Should we stress Olympic medals or Olympic ideals?
Donna, when we left Calgary, we thought that committee's report was going to be brought to us in the springtime.
That's right, but when George convened the committee after these years of quietly sitting, he realized, as an outsider, because he really is a public member, that in order to gain support, he had to really do a thorough study. And so he said it can't be ready until April, and he also didn't want things leaked before Seoul because he doesn't want to put any pressure on the athletes that are competing this summer.
Ideals and medals, are they compatible? Can we compete with other nations, particularly the Eastern Bloc countries, with our ideals and the way they practice athletics?
I think that's a complex question and needs a complex answer, but I'll try to be simple. In East Germany and the Soviet Union, they pick their athletes very young, they take them to schools, and they study and train there, so the parents are willing to let their children go. In some cases, we do too. But in this country, what we're seeing is the opportunity to compete in the elementary school, colleges, and high schools. Some of those Olympic sports are being cut across the board. For instance, in San Jose State, track and field has been cut. At Oregon State, track and field has been cut. And remember, Oregon State produced the great Dick Fosbury, who won a gold medal in the high jump in 1968. So how can we compete with a system that's streamlined when we're cutting our opportunities in half for our young people that want to go to the Olympics?
Well, hopefully we can continue the discussion in...
Against Riddick Bowe. Salter's a surgeon, administrative specialist in field artillery. He is stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and coached by Hank Johnson. He joined a novice tournament at Fort Bragg, won it. Hank plucked him out of the crowd and said, "Big man, you're coming with me." Riddick Bowe, 6'4½", 231 pounds, born in Brooklyn, lives there in Brownsville. International record of 3-4, 99-16. These are big men. You need a big referee, right? We got one. Stan Hamilton from Knoxville, Tennessee. The judges are Messrs. Reese, Williamson, Hollis, Filippelli, and Sweeney. Salters got into the finals against Riddick Bowe, stopping Daniel Fikes and Kermit Fitzpatrick. Bowe won over Nathaniel Fitch and Louis Savarese. Salters very strong. Riddick Bowe sprained his right ankle during the competition, had surgery on his right hand earlier this year. Bowe also has a bruised right hand and quite a decent jab. Riddick Bowe showing some early power. Remember, in amateur boxing, that only counts as one punch. But I'm sure it has already had some effect on Robert Salters. And Robert, who had a relatively easy time getting into the finals, realizing that Riddick Bowe is a worthy opponent. Riddick is told to keep his head up. Robert Salters has had only 20 fights and no international fights. Riddick Bowe, on the other hand, has a reported record of 99-16 as an amateur. These are two good big men. Salters stung him down here in the first round. Salters, who I said has had only 20 fights. Salters pretty much comes right at you, punch you. He's a target standing there, but he has tremendous power. Drives Bowe back into the corner. Robert Salters stopped Riddick Bowe in their only previous meeting. Stopped in the second round in the National. Salters won the National, beating Kermit Fitzpatrick. He's also the Army champion and the Armed Forces champion. first round, and the big moment was Riddick Bowe putting Salters on the deck. Kennedy McKinney named the outstanding boxer among the lighter weights earlier today. Remember, he got off the floor to win. Big ones, Riddick Bowe in the red shirt, 231, and Robert Salters, 247, and Salters comes out with a furious rally. Bowe put him down in the first round. Robert Salters, the Army surgeon, got a stern lecture in the corner, and he has come out here in the second round, taking it to Bowe. Now the point is that Riddick needs to fend him off. He does land a solid left hand right there, but allows himself to be bowled back onto the ropes, and he's staying there. And I don't think that's a particularly good place for him. So I must say, Robert Salters has not done any damage to Riddick Bowe, as Bowe has rested a bit on the ropes. Dan Hamilton, the referee. Now Salters needing, I think, to get a little wind after that big opening burst. Stiff left hand by Bowe. Good left hook by Bowe. As Salters came in, Riddick caught him. The uppercut inside by Salters doing some damage to Bowe. I think Bowe needs to get out of that corner. This is tough business here. Grinding business. Salters not very active. He's pretty much a stationary target, but Riddick Bowe in the second round has not been able to take much advantage of it. Because each time he has started, Salters has out-flurried him. That popping left jab by Bowe. It's a good one. Maybe he doesn't use it as much as he should. There's a pretty good right hand by Salters there. But Bowe turned away from it and took it on the side of the headgear. This now becomes a test of endurance. This kind, as long as they're punching, as long as they're free to punch, Stan Hamilton's going to let them hang in there. And maybe Salters got the better of that. It's been a much better round for Robert Salters in the first. And we'll stay. So let's go to the Army corner in a moment. First, we'll look here as Riddick Bowe was pinned in the corner by Salters and see the uppercuts. That's tough stuff, boy. Whew. That'll get your dentist on the phone.
No.
All right, to the corner of Riddick Bowe.
Riddick, all you got is 3 minutes, my man. 3 minutes. And you got to push. You got to push. You're letting this man take you all over the place.
Just step side to side.
Deep breath, Riddick. Deep breath in this guy. There's no tomorrow. There's no
Step back. We was working on half a step back. Shoot the left hand. Throw it. Okay. Don't lay on him. All right. Stay all the way where you can punch. On the inside, don't let him rip this off. You see him do that, you come right back on top with yours.
I'll step out, right?
I'll step out. You finish the combination on top.
Okay. Right.
But start it with the jab. Now establish the jab, right hand to the body, hook to the head. I want double left, double jab.
This is Salters' 21st fight. He's obviously very coachable. He's going to get rougher and rougher, but right now he's got a major problem in handling Riddick Bowe. Round number 3. Bowe was not terribly busy. That's a pretty good right by Salters. He was not a straight right. It was sort of a clubbing right. There's that good left hand by Bowe. Salters a little wild. That's inexperience. There's much to do. Riddick trying to step in with that left hook, missed with it. Riddick Bowe here in the third round with the fight in balance is not willing to let Salters pin him that time. Good right hand by Riddick Bowe. Wicked right. Another one by Bowe. Salters is in trouble. Salters in trouble. Bowe hammering him with lefts and rights. And Robert Salters right now trying to hang on. And Bowe is peppering him. Riddick Bowe has control. Salters hurt. Good right hand by Salters as he fights back. Showing some recuperative powers. It looked for a moment like Riddick Bowe might take him down again. But Salters got off the hook with a good right hand. Halfway, round 3. Nailed him. Bowe is relatively inactive now. Has he run out of gas? 40 seconds. Very tired. Both of them tired. But fatigue may be a little heavier on Riddick Bowe. A sort of a slapping left hand to the side of the head. I don't think either man right now is strong enough to take the other down. It's a pretty good heavyweight fight as Bowe now scores to the side of the head going into the final seconds. From a right hand, Bowe staying on top of him, and it was this exchange, I think, where Riddick spent an awful lot of his energy, and Robert Salters was able to fend him off, landing a very good right hand. Now, the right hand of Robert Salters is lethal. Probably in time will be taught to throw more of those right hand leads because he is quick with it, and he seems to have very good leverage with it when he does throw it. So he's not terribly pleased with his performance. I think he reflected that right there. 247-pounder against Riddick Bowe, who came in at 231, and both of them very active and both looking pretty good. So these may be two of the better young heavyweights that we've had come along here in some time. And these are heavies at 231 and 247. Super heavyweights. The winners go on to Las Vegas for the box-off. And let me explain while we're waiting here the box-off. The trials winners, if they win next Saturday, and everybody fights next Saturday, if the Olympic trials winner wins on Saturday, he doesn't fight on Sunday.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the winner by a 4-to-1 decision.
4-to-1 decision here.
In the red corner,
it is Robert Salters, 4-to-1. So, Robert Salters was put down in the first round and got up and won the fight. And he won the fight as much as anything by just simply outlasting Riddick Bowe. Here's the knockdown. Well, Riddick at that particular point in time took on the floor to do it. Robert, congratulations, and what in the world went through your mind when you suddenly realized you were on the deck?
Well, I'll tell you, that was the very first time that I had ever been put down on the deck like that. Well, I had never been put on the deck before, but it grabbed my attention, let me know that I was going to have to get up and stay alert.
Were you, in fact, hurt or just stunned?
I was stunned. I was very stunned, you know. Like I said, I had never been put down like that before, and, you know, I just knew that I had to get up and fight.
You've only had 21 fights now, I guess.
Yes.
That's right. You're certainly coachable. It looks like now that you're just beginning to gain momentum. Get ready for, hopefully, the trip to Seoul.
Well, that's my goal right now. I plan to be on that trip. I know that I have to fight Riddick Bowe again because he's my most noteworthy opponent. I'll be ready for him this time, and you can believe I won't hit the mat.
All right, Robert, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Robert Salters, who won super heavyweight. Now, here are the winners from this weekend of Olympic trials. 106, Michael Carbajal. 119, Kennedy McKinney. 132, Romalis Ellis. 147, Kenneth Gould. 165, Anthony Hembrick. And 201, Ray Mercer. Those were the people who won on Saturday. Today, Arthur Johnson, Ed Hobson, Todd Foster, Roy Jones, Al Cole, and Robert Salters were the winners. So we have now moved to the final stage of preparation for the Olympic team, picking the Olympic team. Let me carefully explain this box-off business. The winners here at the Olympic trials go into Las Vegas next Saturday. Everybody boxes on Saturday. If the Olympic trials winners win again next Saturday, they don't fight Sunday. But if an Olympic trials winner should lose in the box-off, then he has, in effect, a repechage, another opportunity. That's the story. Let's rejoin Frank Gifford.
Thank you, Keith. A very busy day. We reported earlier that Bella Caroli, the great gymnastics coach and the head of the U.S. delegation to Seoul, had resigned that role yesterday. About 15 minutes ago, we caught up with Belly in Houston. Here are his comments about that resignation.
Yesterday we had a very unhappy surprise and very unpleasant surprise personally I had during a so-called committee meeting where one of the assistant coaches who has absolutely no producing none of the athletes of the national team, not even having one athlete in the national championship, raised the issue and raised the question why I'm on the head of the delegation and why my person gonna be in Seoul, Korea. I don't believe it's justified any kind of issues, but if they don't have the faith on me, they don't think I can help even in my position, which is not the one I was wishing to have as head of the delegation, I thought it's better to resign. I really don't want to create any kind of further controversy or you know, to disturb more and more individuals and voters.
You think there's any chance that you'll change your mind and you'll be back and you'll be in Seoul?
I'm firm on my decision right now. I will stay on my position as long I know I can't help effectively. If I would see a situation coming up in the next future where I can have a strong input and a strong help, what actually I want to help, my kids, the U.S. kids, the team, the whole delegation, if that opportunity will be given to me, I will take it.
Bella Caroli, we have a feeling that he will be in Seoul. That interview about 15 minutes ago. Coming up, Mutual of Omaha's Spirit of Adventure, and don't forget the All-Star Game Tuesday night.